on CityCast Nashville, we're talking parking. More specifically, Metropolis, the parking giant everybody loves to hate. But wait, last week they launched a brand new program that could make them heroes to Nashville's musicians. Executive producer Whitney Pasternak and producer Daniel Sumstein join me to discuss the good news and hear thoughts from subscribers about their experience with our asphalt overlords. It's Monday, August 18th. I'm your host, Marie Cecile Anderson, and this is what Nashville's talking about. Hey, y'all, real quick before we jump into this awesome conversation about parking, I have a quick favor to ask. CityCast is doing our annual listener survey, and it would really help us out if you wouldn't mind taking just 7 minutes. That's all, 7 minutes. We timed it to take this survey. Yes, some of y'all took it last year, but it's a new year, new survey. Go to citycast.fm/survey to take it now. When you do complete the survey, that means you're eligible to win a $250 Visa gift card and CityCast Nashville swag. So take that survey right now at citycast.fm/survey. Now let's back it up and yield safely to a conversation about parking. Metropolis parking is in the news a lot lately. And y'all, I could not believe my eyes. A couple weeks ago at the Tomato Art Festival, we were all extremely amused to see Metropolis set up a sponsor booth in the middle of the vendor booth selling artisan soaps and tomato-shaped jewelry. I even saw on TikTok someone said, "Who invited the devil?"
It was a double booth, like two tables and two tents. It was huge. And Tomato Fest, like those streets are super crowded and you kind of have to walk really slow because everyone's looking at the art and the crafts. But the space around their double booth was like totally empty. Mm-hmm. It was like a force field was kind of repelling everybody over to the other side of the street. There really were so many posts on social media of people just being like, why are you here? Like, we went to Bad Idea to have a steak sandwich, which, by the way, that was the best idea, Bad Idea for Tomato Fest. Even they posted a picture of the booth, like, out their windows, just saying, like, come air your grievances. Yeah. They're here.
It's like, do you want to talk to an actual human being? Here you go.
Well,
here's
so
your chance.
Why do people hate this parking lot company so much?
Well, Whitney, we actually turned to our listeners and Hey Nashville readers and asked them that exact question a few weeks back. And y'all, we were flooded with responses. So we decided to include some of them in this episode today. We've borrowed the talents of our CityCast colleagues from around the country to do dramatic readings of the responses we got from real Nashvillians. Let's start. Let's begin with an email from Kate F.
Someone in town must have a very similar license plate number to our families, as we got at least 8 bills for parking in the last year alone that we know was not us. We contacted Metropolis each time and could not get through to a human for a while. We were finally able to communicate via Messenger with an employee there, and they said they'd take care of the issue. However, it continued to happen, and we continued to get bills that were not ours, along with threats that the bill would go up if it was not paid. If they're going to use robots instead of giving jobs to people in town, they need to make sure the robots do their jobs correctly. We wasted so much time just trying to tell them it wasn't our car. I'm not a fan of AI facial recognition. I'd much rather see them hire real people. I try my hardest never to park in their lots, even if it means walking a ways. I hate them with a passion.
The robots. I'm not a fan of robots doing human jobs either. And that's not a Metropolis exclusive problem.
Right. That's true. But it is so incredibly frustrating to have a real problem and be in the parking garages having these issues. We feel your pain, Kate.
I feel like that's oftentimes by design, too.
Oh,
not to get
ding,
super
ding, ding.
cynical, but it's by design.
Xfinity, I'm talking to you. That's them too.
Exactly.
All right. Next, we have a response from Doria G.
Let's just say I will never, ever park in a Metropolis lot again. Going to Hampton Social, I parked in one of their lots, but tried 3 times to use the barcode scan. I figured they'll just bill me the $20. 2 months later, I got a $20 bill with a $75 late fee. I was furious. First bill and a late fee was added. I called and refused to pay the late fee, but would pay the $20 parking fee. They tried to talk me into a $30 late fee. That's when I knew it was a scam. Recently, in another part of town, I parked 3 blocks farther away rather than park in their lot again. Never again.
There's that same response again of she parked 3 blocks farther away rather than park in their lot. So maybe, hey, Metropolis helping people get in their steps all across
that's
Nashville.
Nice. That's true. Well, I'm going to go negative real quick. If Doria G had just read the service agreement,
Oh, no.
which we will get into later, it's so unfortunate when you go in there, the first thing that comes up are the terms of service that you just click.
I haven't read a term and condition in decades.
Nope.
I feel like Apple is constantly being like, we need to take your blood for sampling. And I'm like, sure, okay.
Yeah.
I like my phone.
Yep, exactly. All right. And then finally, let's hear from Nancy T.
I absolutely loathe Metropolis parking. One time I went for brunch at Two Hands on 8th Ave, parked in their lot, scanned the QR code to park, etc. In the restaurant, my server validated my parking, so it should have been free. I was there for an hour and 8 minutes exactly, and Two Hands allows for 2 hours. The next thing I know, I get a bill from Metropolis for $120. It took weeks of me emailing back and forth with them, tracking down their CEO on social media, threatening to hire an attorney before they ever gave up. I refuse to park in a Metropolis lot now, which is getting a lot harder because they seem to be taking over the city's parking. Interestingly, I recently toured some apartment communities and the sales staff actually apologized that the apartments use Metropolis for parking.
Oof.
Absolutely
Apartment
load.
communities are using
I know.
Metropolis?
Wait
Is
a
that
minute. Really?
Is that like for people who live there?
No, I bet it's
Do they have
guests.
to pay?
That's how they get you, Whitney. You finally get your apartment. You're so excited. And then they're like, you get one parking spot. You're welcome to have guests, but they have to pay to come visit you. Capitalism.
Speaking of capitalism, back before I was the producer for CityCast Nashville, I actually used to work at Amazon. And when I worked there, I was commuting into the downtown office 3 days a week. And their parking garage was owned by Metropolis.
Dum, dum, dum.
My first day, I applied for a parking pass, but the parking passes were backdated for like a year. So until mine kicked in, I had to submit these daily expense reports to get reimbursed. The catch, though, was that Amazon would only cover 50% of the cost. And so that meant I was paying anywhere from $16 to $32 a day just to go work in an office, mind you, where none of my team members were even located. So I would just go in and talk to no one. That's a significant portion of my paycheck going just towards parking. This was an ongoing thing that a ton of employees complained about. And like I mentioned, the garage was owned by Metropolis in partnership with Amazon, which I honestly think played into their push for the return to office mandate. A little kickback money on the side, if you know what I mean. And yeah, it just felt so pointless and corrupt, just peak capitalism, honestly.
Ugh. What about you, Marie?
Well, you know, the other day I went to an event at the Alliance Bernstein building downtown. And as soon as I pulled into the parking garage, I immediately got a text from Metropolis saying rates start at $10.99 an hour. I was like, Big Brother is watching me. It immediately made my chest get tight because
You're being watched. You're being followed.
I was going to an event that claimed to be validating the parking. Luckily, as soon as I got to the event, bless this person's heart because she was at the front desk. Before she even said, welcome to this event, she said, do you need validation? But my mom was with me and she was like, who is this texting me? She was so confused.
Oh, no,
and I mean,
Linda.
she knew it was parking, but for an, almost 80-year-old woman who is very smart, whip smart, if I might add, but she doesn't go downtown much. And so it just makes me think of older people going downtown to the Symphony or to the Ryman or something who are getting these texts out of the blue. And how do they maneuver that? Because it is very confusing.
Well, I
Yeah.
saw something on Reddit that this has to do with their license plate recognition system. So when you have entered your vehicle into a Metropolis lot or garage, they then capture you and your license plate. And then when they see your license plate again, they know that it's you. So I've saw people recommending, and this probably isn't legal, but I'll just go ahead and say it. I mean, I'm not liable for what you do with your personal lives. The first time you go into a Metropolis garage, you should mark your car as a rental. So then they like wipe it from their system.
Whitney, that is brilliant.
I don't do that because I don't park in parking garages. I am sorry. I am stringently anti-paid parking. I'll walk like a mile before I park in a paid lot. But I will say personally, I was attacked when they made the lot behind Mickey's Tavern and Nicoletto's at Trinity and Gallatin. When that became a paid parking lot, I found that to be a personal insult towards me. You know, y'all, it's not just, though, that people don't like this company, right? There are also some pretty serious allegations against them, which we want to bring up. We talked about this on Friday News Roundup last month. But Marie, can you remind us?
So last month, the Tennessean reported that Metropolis is involved in a class action lawsuit alleging that Metropolis is being intentionally confusing tracking license plates with AI and unlawfully accessing DMV records in order to track people down and charge them with fines.
WSMV Channel 4's Jeremy Finley has done some great reporting on those class action suits, including talking to one customer named Jared, who said that he and his wife went to dinner in the Gulch and paid to park for 2 hours. After dinner, they ran into a friend and ended up talking, returning to their car and driving away. Days later, Jeremy Finley reported, this Jared guy received a parking invoice in the mail, reading that because he parked in the garage for 8 minutes and 2 seconds over the allotted time he'd paid for, he now owned fines and fees of, wait for it, $100. And y'all, even Mayor Freddie O'Connell got a ticket for parking in a Metropolis garage that he'd never parked in last year, which sounds like the same thing that happened to Kate F., whose response we read earlier. So you've never even been in the parking garage and you're getting charged.
Oh, creepy, creepy. But it's not just your DMV records that Metropolis is accessing. According to the Tennessean, in January, Metropolis deepened its AI repertoire by acquiring an AI company specializing in facial recognition technology.
So, Marie, how does Metropolis respond to all of this?
Well, Metropolis sent a statement to Channel 4 after their story about the class action lawsuit, saying that assertion in these lawsuits that we intentionally deceive customers is categorically false. These months-old lawsuits in question are simply the latest attempts to try to force a company to pay for violations they did not commit. To be clear, none of these lawsuits dispute that they failed to pay for a parking session. They parked in a private parking facility with signage stating they need to pay, and they failed to do so.
But what if you didn't park in the parking facility?
What if you didn't?
Okay, private parking facility. When all land becomes private parking facilities, like what do we do from there? Because
I think that's an excellent question, Daniel. And y'all know that when we have excellent questions, we like to reach out and get answers. So we reached out to Metropolis and let them know we were doing this episode and asked if they'd like to address these problems that our subscribers wrote in to tell us about. Through a spokesperson, they sent over the following response. Quote, "Those issues have largely been resolved. Like all tech companies who have scaled quickly, we were not immune to some growing pains with our technology as we rolled it out and refined it. Many of the issues folks encountered in the past have been fixed. They say they've proactively stopped booting cars and only tow when it's egregious or requested by the owner, that they've extended the grace period for when you enter a lot but don't park to 15 minutes. They've lowered late fees substantially below the industry average, and they've bolstered their customer service operations, including a new VP of customer experience named Scott Raymond, who is based here in Nashville." Hi, Scott. And then I said, is there anything we can tell our listeners to make it easier for them to get in touch with y'all when they do have a problem, when they do have an issue? And Metropolis said that they really want locals to know that they've juiced up their in-app customer service. You can click the help button on the top left in your account page to let them know about any issues you're having. You can also email Metropolis at help@metropolis.io. The spokesperson said, quote, "We want to deliver the most seamless parking experience possible, so we are always there to help." Hopefully some of y'all can take advantage of that, and hopefully things get better. I know that people are very upset, but maybe we're on the pathway to change.
Folks, you might have to suspend your grievances against this company just a little bit because on Friday, they started a brand new program that helps out a really important group of people here in Nashville. We're going to talk about it right after the break. Did y'all hear the news? Two of Nashville's music institutions, Musicians Corner and Lightning 100, are partnering to present Free Fest in Centennial Park. This 3-day Labor Day weekend, pet and kid-friendly music festival is a celebration of free live music. Plus, enjoy delicious local fare, vendors, beer, wine, cocktails, and more. Pull out a blanket, grab a bite, and hear some of the finest musicians from Nashville and beyond. Musicians Corner's Free Fest takes place Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, August 29th through the 31st. Do not miss performances by Yola, The Record Company, Judy Blank, Bree Kennedy, The Brummies, and many more. Then check out Musicians Corner every Friday night in September. Free Fest is presented by Amazon, produced by the nonprofit Centennial Park Conservancy, and supported by CityCast Nashville. Visit musicianscorner.com for the full lineup. Remember that amazing little cafe you discovered last summer with the perfect latte and crazy view? Or that sweet hiking spot your friend told you about? But you can't remember the name. Well, with Overlook Maps, special places never get lost again. Create personal lists of places you've been and want to go. Build your must-visit list for your next vacation, your foodie favorites for date nights, or your weekend getaways when you need to escape. Share your favorite hidden gems with friends and family, or go on and keep your secret spots completely private. Planning a trip with friends? Create a shared list where everyone can add their ideas. Visiting a new city? Check out lists from locals who know the real gems, not just the tourist traps. And here's the best part, folks. No ads cluttering your lists, no one selling your data to advertisers, just your personal collection of amazing places, organized exactly how you want them. Overlook Maps. Collect, organize, and share the places that matter to you. Download free at overlookmaps.com and check out overlookmaps.com/Nashville to see some of our lists and great spots on a map and in your pocket. Your places, your way. Daniel, there is good news out of Metropolis.
Good news!
Yeah, so a new program called Park and Play now allows musicians performing across Nashville to park for free in 25 Metropolis-operated lots. Yeah, let's go. Expanding on a previous 60% discount offer. The initiative is available to members of the National Musicians Union, American Federation of Musicians Local 257, and artists playing at Music Venue Alliance venues. So this would include venues like Exit In, Third and Lindsley, and Cannery Ballroom. Metropolis rolled out the full fee waiver after music advocates pushed for deeper support during Nashville's Metro budget discussions.
The spokesperson from Metropolis told us, "We love Nashville and the people who make it run. We made the conscious decision to double down our investment last year in Music City when we based one of our national headquarters in downtown Nashville. It's because we believe in this city. We are proud to help out the hardworking men and women who make Nashville Music City. We look forward to seeing ways we can expand Park and Play, as well as looking at other opportunities in the city."
This program is also a collaboration with the Office of a Nightlife, which means we get to say hello to Nashville's Nightmare, Benton McDonough. We love you. He's been on the show in the past. He says that this milestone is the result of a dedicated 2-year effort between the union, MVAN, his office, and council member Jacob Coupin, who represents downtown, and that they are all, quote, deeply grateful for the partnership and unwavering support from all involved. This initiative reflects our commitment to supporting the artists who enrich our city's cultural landscape. And of course, you know, I also reached out to our friend Chris Cobb, who's the president of the Music Venue Alliance, and he is absolutely thrilled. Metropolis sets an example for private companies in Nashville, he said. I hope others follow suit to protect Nashville's music culture. What do y'all think about that?
I love it. I remember back when I was touring in like 2012 through 2015, a lot of times we just have to throw our hazards on, unload for sound check, and then circle around the block for like an hour trying to find parking.
Oh my God. I got so many tickets when we went through Philly on tour.
I mean, we were barely getting by off merch sales and ticket sale guarantees alone. So any outside expenditures could like really set us back.
And that's what a lot of the downtown musicians have been saying, is that we go downtown. In a lot of cases, they're playing just for tips and a burger. And if you're making $100 of tips a night and you're having to drop 40 of that to park, that's just not sustainable for anyone's bottom line.
Totally.
Now let's hope that they move towards bartenders and service workers all downtown that are able to have free parking, because we learned from our bartender friend who was recently on the pod that many of those workers still have to pay.
But like, what about people who are just out trying to enjoy their life in this city?
I know. I think parking is a big reason why people do not go downtown anymore.
Well, we just saw in Las Vegas, one of our CityCast colleagues at CityCast Las Vegas sent this to us. Metropolis Parking has hung up signs that says payment required, but then it says free for locals with Nevada license plate.
What?
Scan QR code to pay or register for free parking. Enforced 24/7. But yeah, what if they did that here? What if we had free parking for people with Davidson County license plates? It says it on the plate. It says your county.
I mean, that would be incredible.
If you're listening, Metropolis, we love you. Please do this for us. Well, let's hear a couple more of those responses from our subscribers, Marie, because a couple of them called out downtown specifically.
Okay, first up, a comment from David C.
My household of 3, my grown son and his family and my grown daughter's family, just don't go downtown anymore. The monetization of all parking spots has changed the value proposition for every downtown experience. All of us have multiple 6-figure incomes.
Well, first of all, congratulations to you and your family, David.
Just lift downtown anyways. It's so much less stressful.
Or park in Germantown and scoot.
Or park at the library. Never.
Oh, Marie, too soon.
Too soon. Sorry. Finally, let's hear from Neil S., who is a big fan of the Nashville Symphony.
I don't know who owns the lot across the street from the Skemmerhorn Center, but earlier this year, I parked there for a few minutes to discover the concert I had tickets for was for another day. Less than 10 minutes later, I tried to use the confusing app to log out, but apparently it didn't work. When I later discovered I had paid for 24 hours, I tried to get a refund. I kept getting an automated reply that they were looking into it. Never got the refund. Downtown parking is a nightmare, and I suspect that it keeps some business away.
There's nothing worse than you need to just like pop into something downtown, like for just a couple minutes, because you're going to pay. That's for sure. Y'all, it's obvious that our city is growing, and there are a lot of people who want to capitalize on that growth, especially downtown. Do you think paid parking lots run by corporations are here to stay?
Unfortunately, yes.
And I think to Daniel's point, when they pave Paradise and put up a private parking lot,
Nice.
What will happen to us all? But also, I do want to mention that there is a growing chorus of urbanists and transit advocates who are fighting to eliminate parking minimums altogether as a way to encourage people to get out of their cars and find alternative means of transportation, if not at least carpool more often. And in fact, Nashville has been a national leader in this space. We eliminated parking minimums in the urban core in 2022. Which explains why downtown parking is at a premium. So the parking minimum is the minimum number of parking spaces that you have to build anything, right? So we eliminated those. And now Metro Council is currently considering an ordinance from Councilmember Jordan Huffman that would remove minimums at all bars and nightclubs in Davidson County. That ordinance passed second reading at the August 5th council meeting. It's at Planning and Zoning this afternoon, and we'll come back for a third and final reading at tomorrow's meeting. So if you've got thoughts about parking minimums, the elimination or the having of them, please show up at council. But all of this is part of the city's push to increase housing density rather than have so much space taken up by parking lots. Will fewer spots at bars across the county actually encourage y'all to use transit or carpool more?
Yes.
Yeah. We already pretty much use, if we're going out to a bar, we'll use Lyft.
I'm sure this is not the end of this discussion. So everybody at home, if you've got thoughts about Metropolis or trying to park as a musician or the idea of eliminating parking minimums at bars, go ahead, email us at nashville@citycast.fm. We'd love to hear from you. You could also call us.
Yeah, you should also call us so that we don't have to do dramatic reenactments of people's voices. You can call and leave us a voicemail at 615-200-6392. That number again, 615-200-6392. And thank you, Metropolis. I never thought I'd say that, but that's a super cool thing they're doing. And so we want to celebrate that just as much as we want to let people air their grievances.
Thanks,
All right,
Metropolis.
happy parking, everybody. Have a great week.
That's all for today here on CityCast Nashville. And don't forget, y'all, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Nashville neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell your friends? Rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Nashville newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Toodles!